So, this is Baruch Fleischman. We're at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. And we're back to this tremendous Sefer, which this is the third time that I've been into the Sefer. Because this is something that you need to pray, that I need to practice. Whoever is interested in controlling their thoughts and throwing their minds and actually really connecting with infinity. That's what Rabbi MIMRAN is coming to teach us. We're mortal beings, so we're not infinite. But is it possible for us to connect with something which is beyond this physical world at the light? So the last time, and he has been talking about the concept of what he took, as he taught me, was the concept of monkey talk, is that your mind is constantly on the defensive and going back and forth over situations, either in the future or in the past. But really, just really inside of your mind. Is it possible, he said, that you could find the off button? So then he says, in the last little piece that we learned, is that what is the off button? The off button, and this is a concept that really have to work on, is a watcher of the mind. You can actually rise to a level where you watch yourself think. Now that watcher, a watcher of the mind, that's the off button. That's what he said in the last year. So, and for those of you not really, shir means an amount of Torah, little Torah learning. Now here we have, let me see if I get a little better focus. I don't like the focus that much. Here we come to another one. It's part 2. It's connecting with your soul. Now the word for soul in Hebrew is Neshama. Neshama. It's related to the word breath. If you stop to think about it, if you stop breathing, you're dead. So there is some little inside of everything spark that causes us to breathe. And that comes from this concept of Neshama or Neshama. So now let's go over and let's see what he says about connecting with your soul. And he brings this from Nachmanides, wrote Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman. And it's a pasuk in Devarim. And he says, you will recognize that you have achieved true connection with Hashem when all your attention is focused above, even when discussing mundane matters with friends. Now he says it's possible to be able to look behind all the motivations, all the different things, the machinations of the world that are around you, and you could look, so to speak, inside of them, or I call it behind them. In other words, what actually sets them in motion. I think it's possible to do that. But it has to be practiced. It's not magic. Let's read Rabbi MIMRAN. There's another way you can create a gap in your mental stream besides the watching the thinker. Watching the thinker. That approach that we've already discussed. You can move right past the thoughts in your mind and focus your attention directly and fully on your connection with your own eternal Neshama. That's another idea. Now it says simply becoming intensely conscious of your Neshama's holy presence is powerfully informative, as we will explain in the coming chapters. So, and deeply, deeply satisfying is a connection. When you focus your attention in this way, you draw your awareness away from the activity of your mind, and in doing so, let's see if I get this back here, you create a gap of no mind, which opens you up to absolute presence within yourself. Now, I didn't read it well, and I'll read it again. By concentrating on your Neshama, that there is an element within you which is eternal. But so he says, you create a gap of no mind. Because as you look at this, your mind's not going back and forth anymore, which opens you up to absolute presence with yourself. Now for me, this might be 1 second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds, because he said to do that. I'll think about it. I'll try it. I'll practice it. That spiritual state of interconnectedness in which you are highly alert and aware without being distracted by your thinking mind. This is the essence of meditation, a practice that can bring you so much closer to your Creator. Now that right there to me is important to point out, that this is not meditation for meditation's sake. This is a meditation with a goal. The goal in mind is to bring you closer to your Creator. That is Creator, that is the Infinite One who brought about this world. Thus, for example, every time you walk up the stairs in your house or in your place of work, pay close attention to your every step and every movement, even your breathing. Be totally present with and fully focused on your walk up that staircase step by step. Similarly, when you wash your hands, pay attention to everything you sense when you are doing so. Notice the sound of running water, the feel of the water in your skin, the movement of your hands, the scent of the soap, and so on. Or when you settle into your car, let's take that. After you close the door, pause for just a few seconds before turning on the engine and observe the flow of your breath. Become aware of a silent but powerful sense of presence that you begin to feel. If any of these mindfulness practices leave you with a feeling of inner peace, even momentarily, then you know you're doing it right. The single most vital step, I think I might have to bring this up a little bit. The single most vital step on your journey towards achieving true attachment to the Ribono Shel Olam, that means the Master of the universe, but it also means the Master of the hidden, is to learn to separate yourself from your mind. Once you no longer identify with your mind's activity, when you internalize the understanding that your mind is not you, the path is wide open for you to reach great spiritual heights. Every time you succeed in creating a gap in the stream of your thoughts, you strengthen your connection to your Neshama. When there is a gap, we look for a gap in the stream of our thoughts. You have strengthened your connection to your Neshama, which is the world beyond your thoughts. With a little practice, you may one day find yourself hearing the voice in your head and simply smiling at it, as you would smile at the antics of a young child. When that happens, you will know that you are no longer taking the ongoing conversations in your mind. You're no longer taking them seriously, for your sense of self no longer depends on it. Let's look down here, this little blurb that Rabbi MIMRAN brings us here. He says, simply becoming intensely conscious of your Neshama's holy presence is powerfully transformative and deeply satisfying.